So, like, we talked about this in our one-to-one we had earlier, like with with wrongful termination claims on the rise, especially in regards to disability or pregnancy. What are some steps businesses can take to avoid those kind of lawsuits?
First thing first is actually have like a leave of absence, accommodation, and process and policy in place. Though these leave of absence is like one of the things it's like you don't know until it happens. It's like you can't plan for that. Same thing like there's nothing that you need to have something in place before it happens. So I think very first thing is to make sure that you have a leave of absence and accommodation policy in place. Also understanding the leaves that are available to you, because depending on your company size and where your employees are located, how many hours that they work, there's so many different caveats, like if this, then this, where maybe you'll be eligible for FMLA or CFRA, or maybe just pregnancy disability leave. So there's different leaves where, of course, we don't expect them to learn all of them. That's where we come in. But understanding those leave laws, and another thing for disability, on really understanding accommodations. So some clients or employers just feel like, oh, they can't do this, so now we can fire them. It's like, no, can you accommodate them? Let's talk about the process. Have you even tried? So we have to have those conversations. Did you get the doctor's note? Or are you just taking the employee's word for it? Some employers are like, oh, they were out for 2 weeks and now they said they're back, they're good to go. Did you get that an okay by their doctor? Did they have a doctor's note that said that they're fit to work and their job duties? So things like that, when you need to make accommodations. And even going back to the hiring, a lot of people don't know how even applicants have protection against these laws. You cannot discriminate if someone is disabled or they come in on a crutch, or you actually have to just look at the job. Non-discrimination and lactation accommodation policy. I know every time I say that, people are like, really? Do we really need this policy? It's like, no, it's a thing. It's the law. Like, you have to have those things in place. So those are the type of things.
Right. And I tell people this all the time. I was like, look, take a step back and look at the policy. Because, like sometimes people, their eyes glaze over when let's be honest, the end of it, the HR handbook, there's, at least 15 to 17 leaves of absence before I remember. Yeah. And people are constantly annoyed and I'm like, look, there are practical concerns for their different categories of people. Those are concerns. You just look at it if you were experiencing that, put yourself in that position. You want to at least let people know, here's the policy. It may not come in, look, lactation, in our company, I used to be in a women, mostly women only industry. So pregnancy and I came up quite a bit, right? But, we also had several people that were disabled, and we had employees that were like uncomfortable. And I'm like, discomfort does not mean you don't get to accommodate. Our supervisors are like, well, it's a hassle. This person only wants to now because they're morning sickness. They don't want to, they don't want. I'm like, keywords is they're asking for an accommodation. They just ask you for accommodation. You have to interact with them. If you don't know how to handle the situation, which you shouldn't be anyway, this is a time for you to call the HR and to have HR talk to them to find out, hey, what is it you're looking for? Let's have a conversation. It is a conversation. And sometimes you may not be able to accommodate. And it could be because they may say, I want to come in at 8 a.m. when we don't open till 11, right? Or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And I think there's a misunderstanding about that too. Sometimes people think that because you engage, you have to provide the accommodation. It's like, no, you have to balance it out. What is the accommodation they're asking for? Sometimes giving somebody more leave is a very reasonable thing. But if they've asked for multiple leaves and they've been out now for, like, let's say 6 months, and I had an employee that was out for 9 months. Yeah. And it was reasonable because of what they were going through. But at some point, when it got close to a year, we're like,
you got to run a business. You still have to run your business. So you still have to accommodate, but also run your business.